welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another So production. We're doing it on June 19th, 2023. Baby boys, baby girls. Let's do a pose for the old thumbnail. Yes. Hold it. Right there. Hold it. Squeeze. Right. Hold it. Squeeze. Right there. Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome back once again. It is Monday. We are flying, baby. Thank you for joining me. If it's your first time, buckle up, buckle down. If you're tuning in anywhere from Canada, what's up? United States, South America, Mexico, right in between, over there in Africa, Asia, Europe, New Zealand, Australia, Japan, as always, Indonesia, wherever you are, thank you for tuning in. And if you've been with me from the get-go, sending all the love right back at you. Happy Father's Day. It's daddy time. This one's for the This one's for the nectars. This one's for the nectar daddies, the juicy daddies out there. Juicy daddies, that's what it is, baby. So I'm just it's gonna be an extra loose day. This whole week's gonna be extra loose. We've always been loose. One of the cornerstones of this podcast, of this familia, of this syndicate, of this gang, of this crew has been being loose, maintaining a decent, healthy level of looseness. And because, again, if you've just joined in, we are going to be moving spots. If you've been from the get-go, you know what it is. We are moving. This is probably going to be the last, few shows that this unit will look like this. I'm going to have to do a bunch of changes. I'm going to have to paint this wall back to white, get it prepped for the new tenants to come in. And I'm going to be on the road next week sometime. Oh, man. And we're going to, I'm just thinking it'll be good. A few more shows from this place that has been, man, if these walls could talk, if these, and they have on multiple occasions, not so much with words, rather I was probably on mushrooms and the walls started to melt and get pixelated, which was saying something without really saying anything. So it's nice. If these walls could talk, I wouldn't be phased. I wouldn't be like, oh, what's up? I'd probably ask myself, what's going on, dude? And I'd remind myself that you probably took some mushrooms and here are the walls. You know what I mean? So just putting it out there, ladies and gents. It is Father's Day, though. It was Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Whoever is a father out there with, who are fathers? Who are fathers? Interesting question. Men. Baby boys who grew up to be men, responsible men, debatable, mostly responsible men who got to practice being responsible or something, but men nonetheless with penises, full functioning male adult penises, aka nectar daddies. That's what this is all about. Today we've had Mother's Day, ladies. We've had female days, we've had Valentine's. Today's about the daddies. And if you're like, how do I start? How did I, maybe you already celebrated, but maybe it's Father's Week for you or Father's Month. And you're like, how do I, or maybe next year maybe you did it nice this year, but maybe next year you want to do a little bit better. Or you're like, how do I make Father's Day a little bit more special? Take your mom to a spa. Give her an enema of sorts, not yourself. You could do it yourself. You could always DIY that shit yourself. Clean her up, get her waxed, or leave it on depending on what your dad likes. Maybe he's into the bush like your boy right here. Maybe just clean it up, but make sure there's some there's a landing strip of sorts. What is this? Get a nice lady. Or I'd say get a lady. Don't get a dude to trim your mom's bush, dude. That'd be to each their own. I'm just saying, get a nice lady who can carve out a heart-shaped bush on your mom's vag. And it's Father's Day, so first of all, I'd say shake your dad's cock for a second. Just just grab it, shake it. It's no different than shaking a hand, except that it's way different. But nonetheless, you got to remember your roots. You got to remember where you came from. And it was again the nectar daddies, the ones that held the seeds that were later implanted in your mom's vag, and then you resided in the womb. But before that, your dad was carrying you around, dudes, ladies. So you know, at least cup him. Cup your dad. Buff his nuts for him. You know, nobody ever buffs their dad's nut sacks anymore. Just like, you know, get a cloth, get a squeaky clean, dude. Shave his nut sacks, trim your mom's vag, give your dad plenty of Viagra or Blue Chew or Rhino dick pills. That's one of our biggest sponsors here. Not really, but you know, could I get down with Rhino dick pills? I've said it before, I say again, yes, of course, of course. Will it cause all sorts of who knows what down the line? I don't, you know, we're here for a good time, baby. Here for a good time. Oh, my dad's got heart conditions. You know what? It's about fun, ladies and gents. So that's what it is. Make sure your dad's on the Viagra. Give your mom some Viagra too. Why not? Again, make sure there's plenty of lube. Give them, you know, get a waterbed for them. Why not? Get a what? Because they're like probably, you know, as you mature in life, as you get older in life, you can upkeep, of course. You can exercise, you can do Pilates, you can do yoga, you can lift weights, you can do whatever, dude. You can be an acrobat, you can be a 50-something-year-old doing parkour, you could be breakdancing, dancing and just breaking things simultaneously. I don't know what you're into, but you could keep fit. But at a certain point, it's just like, oh man, it feels nice to push a little bit and then let the wave take you away. You know what I mean? So like, if you want them to have a good time, that is. If you don't want them to have a good time, then don't do any of this mentioned stuff and just be like all about me, oh, mom, dad, guys, whatever, you know? And it's nice to just give them a little bit of space, buy them some porn, sneak into their bedroom a couple of weeks prior to next year's Father's Day. Maybe this is something, watch them do the sex, film it without them knowing, get it, you know, get the videotape developed. I don't know how that really goes. You don't really need a videotape. I was thinking bring like an old school like fucking newscast, like fucking like drive in a van, dude. Drive in a van and then hop out with a couple of old school cameras just fucking right above your shoulder. Get in there through a window, watch your parents have sex, film it, get the tape developed at the local tape developer where they raise young tapes to develop into mature tapes ready for viewing, and then yeah, gift it to them so that when they're sitting down, or rather in their water bed, and they're like, oh, you know, it's baby, you gotta wait for this Viagra to kick in the old cock. I'm still not hard. And then Mama Bear can be like, well, look at this tape. Look what our son and daughter gifted to us. Thank you very much. Pop it into the VCR. Make sure you get them a VCR because yeah, anybody can watch tapes on friggin' phones and laptops and iPads and tablets and this, but nothing says I love you, mom and dad, like a old school vintage videotape. Put it in the tape player and just let them watch themselves, and that'll turn them on. And that'll like, it'll be, at one point you will need to probably step in and remove the tape, because if you turn them on too much with everything that you've done, you pampered your mom and dad, you gave them pills to make them hard and horny, extra horny, you giving them tapes, you giving them water beds. If you don't separate them, at one point this could result in an older baby, not an old baby, they won't have it, like it'll be a young, but like an older baby for them, a baby in older stages of life, which is actually nice these days. You do see people putting up some numbers, which is pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie, seeing a couple of people out there, you know, in their 70s, 80s, 90s having kids. That's kind of, you know, it opens up windows, it opens up, gives you a new insight. You're like, oh man, I could work till I'm like 50 or 60, have a baby when I'm 60, raise them till they're like 30, and then be like, yo, figure out the rest, which is pretty, that is given the fact if you are living up to not, but again, if you're having the baby at like 89, I'm just saying, later it's also possible. So how do we even get there? I don't know. All I'm saying is make sure you, again, you're gonna need get some sort of like, you know, record the sound too. Don't just be like, maybe install some sort of like friggin' mics to pick up because you want them to be like, maybe give them a ASMR experience of themselves to turn them on. Thinking about your dad, man. That's what I'm talking about. But that's what it is. Dads have penises. Some dads are hairy. Some dads are bald. Some dads are short. Some dads are tall. Some dads have beards. Some dads have mustaches. You know, and that's dads for you. Dads will be there. Dads will smile. Dads will cry with you. Dads will laugh with you. Dads will be, the person who will hopefully is there to teach you certain things in life. That's what dad, either explicitly or a little bit, on the, maybe he's the type that'll like imply things. Maybe he's not so overt with the lessons of life. Maybe he's that covert daddy, that covert nectar daddy. So whatever you got, nonetheless, man, you do come from a mom and dad. Today's not about your mom. Today's all about your dad. Give that big bear a hug, squeeze him tight. I do have, I have two dads. I've had two dads. They weren't gay. One was my original dad. I had an original biological, like out the box, like that's my dad. Like, not to say like my other dads. No, again, two dads had nothing to do with each other. Not gay, not gay. Just want to clarify. My dads were not gay. Some say it's a lack of opportunity. Others say it's just timing. I don't even know. But like originally had a dad, which is like, it's friggin', yeah, you come in there, you drop a seed, you watch it grow to a little bit, and then you dip out. So that's kind of like, that's my dad's situation. Like, he's no longer with, again, if you're just joining in, it's because some people have watched from the beginning of that. Thank you again, once again, for being a part of my journey and letting me be a part of yours. But again, if you don't know, had a dad, he at one point was like, nah, I'm not just like, other realms of life or what have you. So he's out there, I think, or whatevs. And then later on, I got another dad who's also not gay, which is, so that's, I just wanted to clarify, because some people are like, oh, I've got two dads. I've got an original dad, like a biological, physical, that I came out the wiener dad, and then maybe you got a stepdad, which is I got a stepdad as well. Lovely man, love the fella, which I do have to say, there are no steps in dads. It's all just, it's just one. They're human. I don't even know why we call them stepdads, because I've met the guy. He's a lovely fellow. We spent we spent some time together. He did come into my life in the beginning of my adult portion of my life. I would say that, so it wasn't like but I do have I love the man. He's I'm so lucky, and just feel really great that my mom's got, a nice dude in her life, and that's beautiful. But again, two dads, not gay, stepdad, not made of steps, regular human. He could potentially, like, if he were to clasp his palms together like so, it would technically create a footing or a place where you could place your feet on. And if you were to climb a wall and there's a dad who is clasping his fingers like so, and you could step up, technically that could be a stepdad. If really anybody, if you want to, if you don't even need to really be a dad, if you want to be stepping, you could, let's say again, a wall that somebody needs to climb, you could hunch over, let somebody step on your back, climb over the wall. Not a dad, but certainly a step. I've heard a lot about these step people, dude. I'm just beginning to, I'm beginning to ask questions and pull a couple of, just be like, oh, what's underneath this cup? I don't know, we're playing cups here, but we are apparently. So it's like, oh, find the stepdad. It's like, oh, it's just a human. No cement, no right angles, regular human, but false advertising, because you do get excited. You're like, oh, hell yeah, stepdad. I get to, a man with like, he steps are good to be like, oh, I'm gonna get higher. I'm gonna this fellow, or but there's no steps. And I just do want to clarify that little discrepancy in the dad game. But nonetheless, I'm very grateful that's what it is. And father figures. I'm a father. I've always, and dads are, dads. This is. I didn't expect this episode to get a little bit. I don't really talk about my dad much. I've never really talked about him. I don't really talk about family that much, to be honest with you. Not for any particular reason or anything. But yesterday was Father's Day. We are recognizing fathers for what they do. Fathers, my dad. I love my dad. Wasn't a perfect man by no stretch of the imagination. Was a good man, I'd say. Tried his best. Was my dad was the more so, I guess, when it came to teaching of the lessons, more so of the, he was an implied kind of dad, you know what I mean? He wasn't so much like, he would sometimes say things overtly and like, you know, oh, right there, you need to be like, whatever. But a lot of times my dad was a man of few words, very calm, quiet for the most part. Most of the time he did have a smile on his face, so that was pretty dope. But yeah, man, and that's the thing. I do admire fathers. I do, and that's the thing, because he did depart in my life, not too early or anything. You know, we spent good enough. Obviously, I would have liked to have spent more time with him to get to know him, to learn from him a little bit more. But that's just what it is. So, and some people, you lose a dad, you gain a dad. Sometimes you might not even have a dad, but you might have father figures in your life, and that's always something that I've more or less, not really like, all right, if we're gonna be just a couple of G's, like if we're just gonna be a couple of gentlemen right here, just get into our feelings a little. Yeah, I guess I have sort of somewhat kind of, you know, looked out there for examples of, you know, decent men, because I didn't have too many, you know, I wasn't surrounded by too many, like, you know, just straight up like, this fella is a good example of what it, you know. So it's just, and I do recommend it. And going back, like, not, I don't recommend anything, but if you're out there, you're a young man, sometimes life gets tricky. Same with the ladies. You do, you know, we both, you know, males, female, you do need that nice father figure. Hopefully it's your father that's the case, and hopefully a good mother figure doing that. But today's not about mothers. Today's about daddy-os. You know, it's all about daddy issues today. Daddy issues and the impacts that they have in our lives and whatnot, and other stuff too that we'll get into. But yeah, man, I've always been interested to hear other men speak, and especially if they're fathers, because they, you know, if they're running businesses, if they're successful in all aspects of their life, more or less, you know. No, I just try to learn from everybody. So I appreciate everybody who's out there doing it. Plenty of great examples, and nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody, you know, and it's nice to see people come and like get a curveball thrown at them unexpectedly because they were near a baseball park and somebody threw a curveball and it was just like not aimed at the batter, let's say, and it just hit you in the face. You're like, oh my god, this sucks. I wasn't even involved in this baseball game, but now I got a concussion, and who knows what can happen from there. But that's life. That's curveballs for you. So all I'm saying is, it's like, you know, appreciate your dads if you have them, or stepdads, or father figures. And other than that, and if you don't, if you want to be like, maybe you don't want to spoil it, like you don't want to spoil your dad either. Maybe you're a good sort of son or daughter, maybe, and they're really like, oh man, I've done a good job with this kid, and I didn't really need to put that much work into it, and like maybe they feel pride and joy or something. So maybe if you've spoiled them with you being a decent human being, maybe just act out a little bit so that they can be like, oh, they still need me, you know what? Just for them, not for you. Get into some sort of a, you know, situation where like you're gonna have to be like, oh, dad, I got this giant friggin', you know, I got a leopard pregnant. What am I, you know, a friggin' baboon jizzed in my face, dad, or something. I don't even know, but like come up with it so that he can pull you aside and give you that fatherly wisdom. If I were a father, I'd be like, oh, you know, son, my daughter, my son, whoever, you know, oh, got a leopard pregnant, huh? Well, you know, dad's here. I got your back. I got your back. Dad's got your back. You think my son or daughter is gonna come and tell me that they've gotten a leopard pregnant? I'm not gonna squeeze a damn tit, dude. This is, a lot of dads traditionally go like this with a beard, or like this, but no one ever goes like and has a serious conversation with their children about getting leopards pregnant or having baboons jizz on them, or jizz on a baboon. Who knows what you're doing out there, son? We're gonna have to sit down and have a serious conversation about your life choices there. Daddy's there for you. Daddy's always been there for you. Daddy's always gonna be there for you. Squeeze, squeeze. You know what I mean? So it's just like, it's not about you. It's about dads. It's what I'm trying to say. You know, so it's, yeah. Do I Miss my dad sometimes, maybe. But it's, but it's nice. But it's nice. I'm very, yeah. I'm at a very, I'm at a good, I'm at a. I don't want to say I'm ever like life is full of like it's never for me at least anyway. It's never been a straight line. It's been a full of the it's been adventurous. It's what that is. It's been adventurous. So yeah. Do I miss my dad? Absolutely. Would I have wished to, maybe got to spend a little bit more time with him? Yes, but at the same time, everything that has happened in my life has formed me into the dude that I am today. And I'm not like, yeah, this dude, but like also like, not too shabs, and that's what it is. I did do a little bit of microdosing of the mushrooms on the weekend, which was pretty nice. Which just little teeny tiny microdose of the old shrooms. He's just a little bit just a little pinch. It was nice, dude. Just because it just got the giggles on Saturday, just sitting there, smoked a J, and it was just nice. And then I went out on the balcony and I'm seeing the leaves once again on the trees, and I do see this on a regular basis. That it's like, oh man, nature is alive, and yes, it is, and it's like breathing, but also dancing, man. If you are this, you know what I'm talking about when you see the trees friggin' dancing, dude, because they're like, oh, we're so wavy, we're trees and green and stuff. It happens, people, and it's always has. So that's what it is. You do realize, and I do realize those little things on a regular basis, but it's just sometimes good to get a reminder. And ultimately, yeah, I don't recommend everything for everyone, and everybody's got a different, composition. Everybody's made up of different things. Your body, your mind, your spirit the best. I'm not, advocating anything. I'm not also not advocating anything. I do love the shrooms. I think, responsible adult usage of anything could be beneficial. And it's helped me quite a bit with different things. And it was just another like, fun little giggle time, but also it just like, one thing shrooms has, done for me is reminded me time and again that everything was okay, everything is okay, and everything will be okay. And I know that sounds like, not to say that you shouldn't, and I don't even know what we're talking about today, man. All I'm saying is like, ultimately everything is great. That's the message, and we're all in it together. It really does feel like we are one, even though we're all different units, but made up of, it's really cool, man. I don't even know. I'm just felt great. Wanted to put that out there. If you're feeling like, everything is, I've always, everything is okay, everything was okay, and everything will be okay, and everything is great. There is, because that's the thing. Sometimes certain things might happen in your life, and you're like, man, this doesn't seem like this might not, whatever it is. Maybe it's familial, maybe it's job related, maybe it's educational, whatever it is. You're like, oh man, this is, this might not be looked at as if I look at this particular circumstance, I might not see it as a straight up W. This might seem a little bit like an L, or like an L, depending on I don't know which L you guys would. I don't know. This probably would be this is L for me. This would probably be L for you guys. I don't know, but nonetheless, even if it seems like an L, you take a couple of L's, put them together. What is that? That's a W. Or do I gotta hold this upside down for you guys to be able to? That's a W, right? You get it, and but it takes time, it takes perspective, and ultimately, yeah, man. All I'm saying is like good vibes only. Putting that love out there, feeling the love, feeling appreciated, feeling, and I'm very lucky because that's what it is. On the weekend, I actually got a chance to see my friend, got to meet a couple of new friends, got to just shoot the shit, have a couple of drinks. It was nice. So it's good to be, yeah, people make this world go around. We make this world go around, baby. What makes this money go around? What is this world making? Money doesn't make this world go around. It's people and gravity and shit too. It's crazy. We're spinning, floating midair. But nonetheless, man, I'm feeling good. I hope you are feeling good, whatever you're doing in your life. And we're gonna get into it, man. We're gonna have some fun today. Some ideas that I've just been thinking about, and it's gonna be, man, yeah, it's yeah, I'm trying to like take everything in, also be in the moment as much as possible. And like, yeah, today this is the last full week that I'm in this spot, dude. It's, oh man, it's sweet. It's very, I'm grateful, appreciative of everything that I've been able to do in this city. And I've, really taken as much as I can and try to, utilize it to the best of my ability. Yeah, it's just, yeah, Toronto's home. It feels like, it's nice, but also I'm glad to be able to get out there on the streets and burn some gasoline, dude, because that's what I want to be doing. I want to be burning some CO2s out there, put in my footprint, a little bit of, because everybody's like, oh, are you contributing enough? And I'm like, I could always be contributing more, and I will be contributing more. I will be putting out, because that's what it is, baby. Some people want to be like, whatevs? Oh, 15-minute city this. Oh, no fossil fuels. And I'm like, to those people, I'm like, speak for yourself. If you want to live in a 15-minute city, dog, let's put you in a 15-minute city. You, whoever advocates it, yes, this guy is like limitless city in terms of, well, borders are nice, but you know what I mean, traveling and guzzle up all the gas. Give me all the gasoline, give me all the diesel, give me all the fossil, until we come up with a responsible and reasonable solution. Don't just come in there, man, we gotta get rid of the schmars, we gotta get rid of cars. You know what? I'm gonna be driving and it's gonna be dope, and I'm gonna be just friggin' putting up fumes, dude, putting up some numbers, and I'm not worried about it whatsoever, because in the grand scheme of things, nature always works out. I'm not worried about, of course, we got to be mindful in doing these little things, but whoever smelt it, dealt it, is what I say, dude. If you're jet setting out there and advocating for 15-minute cities and, oh, we got to cut back on fossil fuels without actually coming up with a good idea how to replace it, then, it's, oh, we got to, So all I'm saying is I'm going to be on the road and friggin' like all the gas, dude. I'll pour gasoline out of my car as I'm driving just to make a point. I'll drink gasoline, I'll like burp out fossil fuels and CO2s, dude. You don't know. I'll get a cow to sit friggin' side by side. I'll sit beside a cow and just have that cow friggin' fart. And when I get thirsty and I'm on the road, I'm gonna be sucking on cow's teats for the dairy, fresh dairy. I'm gonna put the windows down, medium size to large size cow will fucking kick it and fart all the way to friggin' Texas, baby. Let's go. That's what I'm here to do. So burning gas is on my mind, and also, good times. That's what it's all about, man. If you were to, hypothetically speaking, I've been thinking about this, if you were to be in a situation or a scenario where you are to get submerged underwater, right? You are to get submerged underwater with a partner on your shoulder. A partner gets on your shoulder, you submerged below the water. Your partner's head and shoulders are above the water. Technically speaking, I'm just curious out there, has anybody tried this, internet world, globally speaking, human community? Are you there? Have you done this before? I'm curious to know, can a person stick their mouth on another person's either asshole or vaginal opening, depending on the, binary? What's up? Vaginal opening, or the butthole, or the asshole, or the anus, the lower orifices, if you will. Scientifically speaking, that is. If you were to stick your mouth on someone's asshole or someone's vaginal opening and then pinch your nose like so, and you're underwater and their head is above the water and they're on your shoulders. So on my shoulders, or imagine a person on my shoulders right now, right? Mouth to asshole or vaginal opening, and I'm underwater. If they open up their throat hole, hamana, right there, and if they start breathing, can I breathe through their asshole or vaginal opening? Is that a thing, internet world? I don't think anybody's tried this. I myself have not tried it. I'm interested. I'm intrigued. Well, I would like to know if it works, first of all. I don't want to just be like finding out and like suffocating. But if it is a thing, that's interesting, because a lot of times, where can that come in handy? Well, let's say you're on a mission somewhere in the middle of a jungle, in the middle of the Amazon forestry. The tapestry's green, the topography's flush. It's out there, baby. You're out there in the jungles, and let's say you got to do some recon for whatever, and you got to get underwater, and at one point there's going to be people with who knows what walking around guarding who knows what, and they're chewing on all sorts of curious little leaves and have gotten all sorts of curious little buzzes, and you don't want to be like bumming out their mellow. So you want to be like, oh, I'm in recon, and you don't have access to a straw, like, because sometimes you'll see like, oh, that's a ninja, or that's a ranger, or and then they're like underwater, submerged, like, you know, sucking on a straw, breathing through a straw, just friggin', and you know, and all the meantime, all this crew is just walking friggin', you know, Kalashnikovs on their shoulders and machetes being tossed around like candy, and you know, they're catching the machetes, taking off a couple of fingertips. It's typical jungle behavior when you're out there guarding something, doing whatevs, and you're supposed to be like submerged underwater. Let's say you don't have access to a straw, my friend, because it's like, or a sugar cane, or whatever else it is that you're supposed to find in nature that's like resembling a straw mechanism so that you can submerge yourself underwater and start breathing. You know what I mean? Let's say you don't have access to that. Well, let's say you went there with partners. Now this time we could use the term partner because this is a friggin' mission, dude. We're all partners in this bitch. This isn't some sort of, this is all friggin' platonic relationships of the best kind, best friendsies, doing funsies activities all day, every day, having each other's backs and fronts, and tops and bottoms too. So let's say you're like, I gotta be on the, you know, I'm camo man. I can't be out there. They can't be like, oh, I decipher this little scene what it is. That's a human on water, son. They see you. But let's say you have a homie who's willing to, you know, lend an asshole or a vaginal opening, and maybe they are the type that just blends in. You know, they come out looking at, you know, maybe they got a lot of like, get a friend who is covered in all like leaf tattoos, all sorts of leaves and flowers and lily pads and frogs and mosquitoes and poison ivy and shit. Get them all tattooed on their body, right? And now you're submerged underwater, asshole to mouth breathing, and everybody else out there is doing the, oh, we're gonna go walk and like make sure that the things that we're guarding don't get unguarded or discarded or whatever, dude. And they look out into the pond or the river, they don't see nothing because it just like from afar it just looks like, oh, that's just a background, little bit of water. Maybe get a little bit of their body like tattooed in water waves and whatnot, blue-ish, murky bluish, green bluish, murky, and then up top torso, leaves, butterflies, and just have them like float there while you're underwater sucking on an asshole, breathing. Think about that. The army could probably use this, and people could recreationally probably use this. So this summer, instead of saying to your family members, or your friends, let's just go to the beach and have a normal fun day, right? Try something different. Live a little bit. Stick your mouth on an asshole or a vaginal opening. See if you can breathe, and let the internet know. Let the world know, because that'd be pretty dope. That'd be pretty dope. Or let's say you got to give, like, somebody passes out anywhere. A completely bizarre but nonetheless realistic scenario. People might pass out, and you might have to give mouth to mouth. But let's say you're chewing on a sandwich, and it's like, time is of the essence. I don't have time to like not chew my beautiful ham and cheese sandwich. I want to chew, and then hopefully, it's emergency. I particularly don't even care if you've shaved or cleaned or not. It doesn't even matter. Stick your asshole on someone's mouth, and if you can breathe, resuscitate. Puff, puff, resuscitate. Or with your vag, ladies. Roll up your sleeves. Put a lip right over someone's mouth and like resuscitate if you can. And I think that's the best. If I ever, for whatever reason, happen to pass out and there is an option of being resuscitated with vaginal openings, please go ahead and, you know, use that method. Unless it's like a 97-year-old woman's vaginal opening and she happens to be an expert in vag to mouth resuscitation, in which case, if she's an expert, you know what, age is but a number, and I'm not gonna be an ageist up in this bitch. Let's go, granny. Loose lips on these other lips is all I'm saying. Putting it out there, lasers, because it's so easy for us to look at the bull in the china shop and ask ourselves, or rather make a judgment, be like, man, look at this bull in a china shop, just causing a ruckus, running amok. Everybody's quick to be like, oh, look at that bull. But nobody ever puts themselves in the position of the bull. How did the bull even get there? how does the bull feel? How does it all, how does it all come to play? What kind of sick China shop sadist decided to place a bull inside a China shop? And how did they even do it? Do you got to get a lot of chloroform for the old bull? Do you get kicks out of knocking out bulls, sedating bulls, and then placing them in a China shop, and then having them wake up and be like, this could easily happen to you, your bull? Maybe you're a bull out there and nobody's representing you. Maybe this has happened to you, and I just like to say you're not alone out there. You're not alone out there. It must be really, really disheartening to just wake up in the middle of a China shop and you're a bull, I'm a bull. Oh my God, look at my giant body and all these delicate little Chinas in this China shop. And you're breaking I'm breaking things, you're breaking things, and you're freaking out, and people are freaking out. Everybody's like, oh, get this bull out of here. But again, just even like, you probably wouldn't even, most China shops, most stores in general, or they don't even have doors large enough for a bull to probably enter through the regular door. So I'm thinking some sick bull pervert is either taking bulls, putting them in China shops through some sort of backdoor or trapdoor mechanism, or even wilder ideas, because nobody asks these questions. Did they somehow remove the top of the store, place the bull in the store, put the top of the store back on top of the store, and then just friggin' like just walk by and be like, oh, what a peculiar set of circumstances. What is this bull in a China shop? So that's, you're out there, man. To watch your ass. Because we're watching. Ladies and gents, it's Monday. And I've been thinking about orgies. Ladies and gents, orgies, my friends, fellow syndicate members, gang members, familia. It's time to discuss orgies. Now, I've never taken part of an orgy. I don't even know what an orgy is, to be honest with you. Orgia that's where it comes from, I believe. According to my very brief research, it is orgia, or was orgia. It was a Greek term for some sort of a cult, if I'm not mistaken. Some sort of a religious cult, or just a cult that was religious, or religion. And cults and religion, what are they? Very similar, and at the end of the day, what differentiates a cult from a religion, which doesn't differentiate them at all, because at the end, if you take it far enough and are willing to die and or kill for whatever's a cause or a person, I think that's basically, so if you end up killing yourself or others, that's cult behavior. So that's when you've gone too far with cults and religions. You're like, what differentiates a cult from a religion? If they're doing the same thing, i.e. end result, either killing themselves or others, you surpassed religion and you've gone into cult territory. That being said, could you potentially, I don't think we've had any successful cults. I don't think they work out. I've always been interested in looking at human behavior. I think that's pretty neat. I did not know orgies were rooted in cult or cult behavior. You could see how that could be, they're next door neighbors. Cults and orgies they're aware of each other. If they're not neighbors, they're like, okay, we're here in this neighborhood, but also, you know what it is. And all I'm saying is, I think it was a, from my basic understanding, it was a Greek cult of orgia, if I'm not mistaken, and they were doing it to just have a good old time, to bang out a good sesh, and also get closer to divinity or something. Who knows? There's a lot of stuff to learn out there, and I'm trying. I should probably, I'm willing to learn, is what I'm trying to say. And apparently the Romans at this time were not down with the cults, and the Orgia at least. This is probably around like 1 or 200 BC from my very brief readings, and I do want to learn more. I'm interested. Yeah, because like first of all, like what even is a cult, dude? What even is an orgy? Or we already discussed what even is a cult, sort of, kind of. What even is an orgy? Because like when you're out there by yourself, if you're solo and you engage in the sexuals, is that an orgy? Well, no, because it takes more than one. What if you're two peoples making the loves? Is that an orgy? Well, no, that's just regular couples sexuals. Okay, cool. What about 3 people? Is that an orgy? Getting warmer. 3 people. Is that that's considered a threesome. Is that an orgy? It's definitely more than 2. Not quite there yet. What about 4 people? 2 couples, or just 4 people? A foursome. That's where it gets, the debate is, first of all, is how many people does it have to be consistent? Like, is it 4 or more, or like do we go 5 or more? Now that's an orgy, because like a foursome could technically still be like, it's still like 4. It's just 2. It's 2 pairs. It's 2 even numbers. It's just 2 and 2 makes 4. You toss another person, I think. Let's just go with this. I'm setting it straight. If you're confused as to how many people does it take to start an orgy or get an orgy going, I would suggest, not having ever participated in one myself, I would think you need at least 5 people. 4 is all right. 4 is all right, but like 5 is like, okay, now we're talking odd numbers. Now anything can happen. Not that anything can't, like anything can happen with even 1, 2, or damn, nice bottle of wine and a laptop and an evening to yourself. Hey, that's not too shabs either. But like if you were talking like human to human, like interactions with like concerning the sexuals and whatnot, I think 5 people is the number. I think that's at least 5, and then you could obviously go as high as you like. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know, man. I'm a curious person. I'm always like, let's learn. This guy in learning. Friggin' I'll do anything for learning and science. So that being said, you need 5 people at least or more. And then I would get, it would have to, because I'm like, when it's just one-on-one, I've never even had a threesome. When it's just like one-on-one, with like more than one, it's like how many, it's just like too many bodily fluids in my mind. That's the thing. That's one thing. I'm not like, but it's, this guy gets down and dirty, but at the same rate, like, it's just, again, too much of it. It'd be like, I'm just like, how do we make sure that everyone's gooch? How do we make sure that no one's coming in with that, extra hot piss? That I don't want like freaking battery acid on me. You know what I'm talking about? I'm sorry, I've just been like this whole summer I spent doing an orgy, and it's just like, well, get your system flushed before you come to this one. You know what I mean? It's not. That's what my concern is. I'm like, what if that's like, whatever? You know what? I don't even know what even goes down. How do you even do it? Do you take turns? Is it like one at a time? And then is there a ref with a whistle where you blow whistle, switch partners? What if other people have not finished, or you finished early and other people are still going? And then you feel like, oh my God, the pressure. Because like, what if you put in a solid good, and it's like your first time, let's say, and you put in a good solid, you give it a good college effort. There's like 30 to 45 seconds of heaven. Just 30 to 45 long, slow seconds. And what even is time if not just 45 seconds to a fruit fly, I'll have you, is a good chunk of a life. So consider that before you go put in some, 45 seconds. 45 seconds of friggin' heaven, dude. Ladies. So all I'm saying is, what if you see others that are just like, this guy's going for like, this guy's a fucking animal. He's going for like 3 minutes. Okay, there. Michael Phelps of the Orgies, this guy. Oh my God, 4 minutes. This fucking whatever, dude. Oh, this lady's all about the double digits in the minutes. Haha, okay. Now we're just like, now we're just being, now we're wasting minutes. Now we're just being, now we're just being all loose with the minutes as if time has no value. Is it even special if it's too long? I'd rather go 5 to 10 seconds of heaven than have to, what are we doing here? Are we having fun? Or are we, what is going on? I'm just saying, if this is for, you never know. I'm not saying that might happen, but it might to anyone. Because the pressure, because you're looking at people, and there's people there, and they're probably looking at you. And again, and the first time you do it, that's probably fine. Like the first partner that you hook up with would probably be fine. Maybe you show up with a partner. Maybe you're partnered up. Maybe you go there as single people, but then you get partnered up. I don't know how it works. The first round is fine, but then you gotta make your way around. Sloppy seconds, thirds, fourths, and so on, depending on how many rounds there are to go. So it's like you're double dipping, triple, quadruple dipping, and slurping too. Because, let's kiss, and like the second before someone else's, it's out there, cock to mouth, and now you're kissing. So basically, you just did cock to mouth. So, orgies, what are the basic etiquettes I would like to, would I engage in an orgy? I'm not saying no. I've never had a threesome. I've never had an orgy. Would I engage in it? If I'm not out there looking for it, but if it were to come, I have come to a realization that we should, for myself at least, just say more yes to life. Or at least yes to observing life. Maybe you need somebody to be like, maybe that's the odd man, maybe you need somebody to be like, hey, Gatorade anyone? Banana to get you some potassium, and friggin' Mr. 3.5 minutes, you need some energy there, pal? I'll make a damn milkshake, dude. I'll friggin' be like, cause I like taking care of people, dude. I like everybody having a good time. So if I'm there, I'll be like, I might not be able to fully participate just cause it's too much sometimes. But I'll be there for support if anybody needs it. You'd be like, get her, champ. You go, lady. Yeehaw. Who's the reverse cowgirl? You are. I'll high five people. I'll friggin'. You need somebody to be like, yo, hot towel, anyone? Hot towel? Cause I'll be, and then, cause I gotta I gotta make sure everybody's comfortable so that I'm comfortable. If it's just so much pressure. It's so much pressure. But I've given a thought in terms of what it would be like if I were to, you never know what life throws at you. I'm just saying, never done it. Am I a person that says yes to most things? Yes. Am I one to, yeah. How do you even check though? For people, because you don't want people just spreading all sorts of diseases and shit. So is there a quick STD check or something just to make it, if it's large numbers? How do you know what I'm saying? How does that work? Because if everybody's pissing in a cup, you'd at least want to make sure everybody's clean. You know what I mean? Everybody's it's as clean as can be. If we're whatever. I don't even know what's going on, dude. I'm just saying, if you're gonna be orgying out there, there's some people did it for probably other reasons besides just the fun. Oh yeah, sure, it's all fun and games. Others probably try to harness the energy of the human orgasm and do some friggin', who knows, some sort of sex magic or some sort of, who knows what, dude. But all I'm saying is, it would, on another note, from the low key, but also mid to high key, the idea of, if we, as what if all the adults in the world, picked a date and a time and coupled at a particular time of the day globally, all the adults, and everybody had sex and orgasmed at the same time? Would that it would probably make for a fun noise. It would probably make for a cool echo into the universe. Just a large, oh man, this is but globally. I don't know. I don't know what it would lead to. Probably would like, oh, everybody's, you know, something. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's feeling good. That'd be pretty dope. It's probably not plausible right now just because like everybody's on different time schedules and whatnot. In the future, is it plausible? Maybe, to orchestrate like a synchronized human hive mind, body, spirit, sex situation? Maybe, which leads me to my next points that I was thinking about. I do think the future of dating is going to be metadating, the metadaters. I think the future of dating will be arranged dating, or rather, the future of marriage and dating could be potentially arranged. Think of that for a second while I get a sip of this. So up until now, of course, we've had traditional arranged marriages in some cultures where like, you know, oh, the parentals might be somewhat involved in picking a partner for you. There are other parts of the world where there's none of that, where you're just like, you know, you try your luck, you toss the dice. And not to say that the arranged marriages are not tossing out the old dice, but we'll get to all of it. So I think right now we're living in a time, obviously, of choices. You have, you know, you go out there, you date, you whatever until you're ready, and then hopefully one day, if that's the thing for you, you meet somebody, a lady or a man that's suitable for you, whatever you like, whatever floats your boat out there. But it's based basically on chance or your willingness to go out there, whether it's on an app or at a bar or at a club or at a, I don't know where you're gonna meet your, wherever, dude, the grocery store. Oh my God, didn't we just both grab this melon right here together? And oh my God, look at all these perky melons, hands touching, and these melons are reminding me of your sweet firm tits lady, and she's like, whilst grabbing some of the melons, stroking the old cucumbers right next to the melon, she's like, oh my God, one of our hands is touching the melons and your other hand is on a tomato, and I'm caressing a big old green cucumber here, resembling hopefully your large green cock. It probably shouldn't be green. Maybe you should check your diet. I mean, it's, yeah, if it's green, dude, see a doctor. But like, or like just the size and the, you know, the phallic shape of it, so there's spark maybe flying at the grocery store. I don't know. Mail, post office, friggin', you're putting in mail and like delivering a envelope, and there's a little, you gotta slide it in there, and every time you go in to drop there's vibes with the mailman or lady who is you're slipping the envelope, so that's for you, get it, slipping the old envelope in the mail slot, and your friggin' sparks are flying. Sparks, these are sparks, dude. Sparks are flying, you're flying, and she's flying. So I don't know that, but those are like, you know, left to chance, and like, again, your willingness to put yourself out there, however it may be, you know what I'm saying? But I was thinking, you know how we're like, you know, we're getting more connected with, we're becoming more symbiotic with tech, and like we're being more embedded with like tech, and as time goes on, I'm thinking like 50 to 100 years from now, I think we're all like, if you're already carrying a cell phone, which is pretty much almost everybody, unless you're some like indigenous tribe member in some like, you know, some in the depths of the bush somewhere, just like, you know, doing it old school, then you're not, you know, even those guys are getting friggin' Wi-Fi these days. So it's, everybody's becoming Wi-Fi'd up, everybody's becoming connected, everybody's like, you know, merging with the tech, and I think more and more information puts us somewhat, you know, it's connecting us, it brings us closer together. There's aspects of tech that are like, oh man, maybe we should, and there's that fine balance. But all I'm saying is, as we move and put more information on the lines, as we put more of ourselves out there, I think there's going to be there already is, like, there's probably like a ton of data on everybody, and depending on how much you put out there, what you put out there. But I think at one point or another, if we do, especially with like talks of Neuralink or other chippiness that is on the horizon, again, probably not the first adapter for this guy, but I'm just talking like down the future, 200 years down the line, dude, 200 years down the line, we're talking future love. Future love is probably going to be arranged, because everybody's going to have these like sets of data that they've just, you know, from cradle to grave have been putting into the old global mind hive spirit physical being that is the earth but also humans as one unit, which is crazy. It's really cool. But also kind of like, which one would you rather though? Here's the thing, you put all the information and you get all your data. There's all 8 billion, 10 billion people in the future, who knows? And all their data is on the lines. And now there's data on data, which is metadata, right? And that's when you become a metadata, because up until now, or at least up until the near future, that it'll be like if you want to date or get married or whatever, if you want to get a lover, you go based on, do I like the way they look? Do I like the way, maybe you talk a little bit, whatever, but then the rest of it, but what if there was already a statistically broken down analysis of who you're supposed to be with, or at least like the top 20 or top 10 people that you're most compatible with? Because that's the thing, you could be potentially partnering up with the right person right now, but what if there's even a more righter person that you're not even aware of? Maybe somebody in maybe you live in the US, maybe you live in Canada, maybe you're already partnered up and you have a lover and all that jazz and all that, but that's maybe if we get access to everybody and maybe you find out, holy shit, my the lady that I'm supposed to be with is friggin' like all the way in Alaska. Who would have thought we'd have so much in common? Maybe it's the fact that she's friggin', she's got thick thighs and dirty feet and a nice wild bush and crazy hair, dude. And she might be, and she's friggin' like, when it comes down to it, she'll be able to like take care of herself, but also it's like that's just me. So all I'm saying is, if you had the option of metadating, becoming a metadater, going on statistics, would you rather that, or do you prefer the roll of the old dice of, the way we do it now? And that's the thing. That all depends on is the data being. Are we giving the data correctly to these computers? Because that's the thing. Because sometimes the programs have biases. Let's say hypothetically that we tweaked it. Excuse me. Oh, almost choked on my own spit there. Oh my God, this podcast is so intense. He almost choked on his own spit. Breaking news. I did not choke on my own spit, ladies and gentlemen. I'm okay. You're like, damn, that was so fucking realistic, dude. The choking was, and so was whatever happened after. And scene. As in, it's being viewed. The point is, ladies and gentlemen, do you rather, that's the thing, because you don't even know, man. If we, let's say we fixed all the bugs and we tweaked this so there are no biases, this computer, this program, this AI is out there just to work with us, not against us. We're one with the tech or something. Because if it's biased, it might fuck you over by hooking you up with the wrong person too, because that could happen. Maybe it has its preconceived notions of who the right person is for you based on its preconceived notions that has been derived from the wrong input. What if it hooks you up with some friggin' something that you're not into, but it thinks you're into? That could also, because I've seen the signs, I've read the what, I know facial recognition, dude. You've been facial recognition for 2 minutes, dog, and we've been facial recognition for life, us humans. So how you gonna look at my face and be like, so do I trust the computer or an AI to find the right partner for me? Or do I go with my guts? Do I take my intestines and just be like, here, these are my intestines? Do I go with my gut and just, hand my loose intestines to people out there and see who's willing to take it? Be like, here's my intestine. Do you want to tie intestines together? Here's my gut. I'm going with my gut. Let's make sausage together. Or something. Do not even know. But all I'm saying is that orgies are crazy. Metadating is crazy. Your dad's crazy in terms of never, parting away from your mom's vag. Or whatever, for whatever circumstances they might have parted, whether through life or circumstance. And that's the thing, maybe you got, again, and your mom's vag is crazy, dude, is all I'm trying to say. And then you were both made, you were made from both vag and peen. from your dad's penis. And that's how we do it, ladies and gentlemen. So let me know what you think. Would you opt for metadating? Would you rather go with your gut, risk it for that Trisket baby? Or are you that person that's like, no, if you give me an analysis, if you give me molasses, dude, I'll go friggin' statistical on your ass or something. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday. We are rocking and rolling. I'm excited. Thank you again for joining me today. We are, we're moving next week. There will definitely be, again, we're here. Where can you find these videos? Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Because of the move next week, I will definitely fill you guys in as to how we're going to be doing things on and off the road until we get situated. But for the meantime, stay tuned. Where can you find these videos? On Instagram. Follow me there if you like segments, portions, if you like things chopped up. If you're that nectar daddy or mommy that likes things chopped up, son, that's where you get it. And then if you're like, man, I like, give me the whole thing all at once, where can I get that whole thing all at once? You want the whole thing all at once, do ya? YouTube, subscribe. It's called Glad You Made It, or search Rob Sadri. Subscribe so you get the full-length videos and the reminders that it drops every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And you're like, man, is there anywhere else that we could go and check out these videos and also fiscally support the show? Once again, I'm glad you asked. There's patreon.com/Rob Sadri. We'll be back here again on Wednesday. In the meantime, have fun and peace out. Love y'all.